What's up, y'all? This is Emmanuel live at the NPEA conference here in Philadelphia. And I got a special one for y'all, special treat. I got my teammate here from the organization that empowers what we do here at Philly Goes to College. I'm not gonna give it away. I'm gonna let her share who she is, the organization that she represents, and what brought her here to the NPEA conference.
Hi, I'm Ellen Ridyard. I'm the Director of Collaborations and Partnerships at the Philadelphia Education Fund, where I work closely with the Philly Goes to College team. And as soon as the NPEA conference let us know that they were coming to Philly, we had to get involved. So it's been really just a pleasure to be part of the conference planning committee and to just be able to collaborate with the team at NPEA to shape some of the sessions and the experiences for folks. We wanted to make sure they felt really welcome here in Philly and also that they had a great conference experience.
And for those people that don't know about PEF, maybe the first time hearing about what the organization, the name, could you just give them a little bit of background on who PEF is and what they do here in the city?
Sure. Well, this is the 40th year that PEF has been in existence in Philly, and so we're a college access and success organization that's really focused on creating more opportunities for post-secondary pathways and economic mobility for all Philadelphia students. We run a direct service college access program at 6 high schools across the city of Philadelphia, where we coach students and families as part of their college team to make really great fit college decisions. And we also have some work to support educators and practitioners through different STEM programs, collective action work, and we also work with students in middle school and students in college to provide them with scholarships just to ensure that college is as affordable as possible.
Dope. Very, very good. And I wanted to talk a little bit about CASE, if you could also just break down what CASE is and why they're here today, why they were a part of this conference as well.
So CASE is a new citywide collective impact forum, and so the goal of that ecosystem, it stands for the College Access and Success Ecosystem. It's really to strengthen our high school graduation rates and our college graduation rates with the big question of, can we have stronger outcomes if we all work together and collaborate and coordinate our work to support Philadelphia students. So we were really honored to be invited to share a little bit about how we designed the ecosystem, how it got started, how it's been going, some of our early wins that we've had this year around FAFSA, and just talk to people from across the country about their own collective impact. You know, how might you get started collaborating in your community? If you've already started, how can you continue to grow that? And what are some of the things that we can learn from each other? So we had a really great conversation on Wednesday during our workshop session with some of the steering committee members for CASE, just to talk a little bit about the success of the ecosystem so far.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. I got to learn a lot about how the sausage is made, so to speak. Could you break down, if somebody's watching this who's leader in an organization that this rings a bell to them, how could they get a part of CASE? Is it open for people to join, or?
Yeah, we welcome everyone who's really committed to student success and college graduation rates in Philadelphia. So it's open to anyone, it's free. We ask that folks that are interested just sign an MOU to say how they'd like to get involved, either as a supporter of the ecosystem or a member of one of the action teams. So you can find that on our website at casephilly.org, and we'd be happy to talk with you more about how to get involved. The ecosystem, the action teams meet every month online, and we also meet 3 times a year in person, where we bring folks together to share best practices for professional development and just to really keep each other posted on all the good work that different organizations focused on college access are doing.
Awesome. So in your work that you've been doing, you know, like Farrah said yesterday, your middle name should be partnerships. In all the work you've been doing in this particular realm in education, what's one thing that's really surprised you or something that you're kind of like that really like blew you away, or maybe something that stands out to you when it comes to the efforts being made to make sure that everybody's prepared to get to college or prepared to matriculate, if you will?
The ongoing challenge is really around affordability. So I think, where Pennsylvania is situated, being 49th out of 50th in terms of college affordability, really creates a systems challenge for folks. So I think one thing in Philly we're able to really capitalize on is having so many universities in our backyard that students can attend and commute to and get connected with in high school and as college students. But I think until, we kind of keep running up against the same wall of affordability, graduating with manageable debt, and how do you advise around that continues to be a real big challenge. I don't know if it's surprising as much as
it stands out though.
Complex, and it always is, kind of just a big factor. I think students and families have a really healthy skepticism when it comes to thinking about college affordability and how they're going to make that kind of financial commitment to education, which of course is an investment in yourself and your own network, social capital, and career advancement. But it's also a lot to ask people to, kind of contribute to, considering just the financial constraints of family incomes and also just the rising costs of colleges. So how can we really reconcile that for folks and provide pathways that are actually feasible? I think is one of the big ongoing conversations that I've heard at this conference, and that also, is one of the reasons why we really focused on FAFSA completion this year with the ecosystem.
Right. For those parents out there, students and parents that haven't filled out the FAFSA now, do you have any kind of like just words of wisdom or encouragement based on what y'all are seeing and what y'all are finding to kind of encourage them to go ahead and complete that FAFSA?
Sure. I think, the time is now to get started with working on the financial aid FAFSA application and FEA application. It's April, so we have some time between now. We still have the whole month of April. We have May. We have June. If you need assistance, there's definitely support at the Philadelphia School District through their pop-up nights. There's also support through a lot of partner organizations at high schools. And as we can be a resource to working on that process with you, we'd be happy to be. But it's never too late to get started, and it can feel like, a chore. But in terms of being able to afford college, it's a great first step to just kind of see what options you might have as a family for thinking about college and kind of the nuts and bolts of how much it might all cost.
That was great. Thank you, Ellen. So to just wrap it up, we asked you a couple quick fire questions,
Sure.
Now, we can breathe now. Everything's cool. All right, so quick fire questions. Where did you go to college?
I went to Vassar College for undergrad, and then for graduate school, I went to the University of Edinburgh in Scotland and the University of Pennsylvania to get my teaching certificate.
Wow. And what was your major?
In undergrad, I studied women's studies, and in grad school, I studied creative writing and English and history education.
The Edinburgh trip, how was that? Like, how was that for you? Like going all the way to Ireland, going to school there? Just for those students out there that are considering studying abroad.
Yes. When I graduated from high school, I received a scholarship to study abroad through Arcadia's Center for Education, Global Education. And so I did a semester abroad in Sydney, Australia, and that really sparked my love of travel, maybe much to the surprise of my family. But my grandfather is from Scotland and came to the United States when he was a young boy. So I feel like it's a place that I've heard about and a place where there are a lot of writers and arts and culture. So although the weather is terrible, I had a really great experience living and learning there and being so close to a lot of European cities that I got to travel to very fortunately when I lived there for 2 years after college.
Gotcha. And going back to your majors, what made you choose those majors?
Oh, man. What made me choose my major was taking one great class with one really strong professor. So when I started college, I was going to study English. I was going to be a writer. Both of my parents were journalists, and that was the plan. And then I took an intro to women's studies, gender studies class the first semester, and then just really started kind of exploring, you know, the paradigm of how we think about different constructs and gender in our society and how that applied across politics and film and all these different disciplines and how we see the world. And I just kept taking class after class after class. I still took creative writing classes, but after a while I was like, oh, I guess now I'm doing this thing. But I went to a college, I was very lucky, that had an open curriculum. So I was able to take a bunch of liberal arts classes that played to my strengths, and I didn't have to kind of suffer through things that I didn't enjoy anymore like I did in high school. So it was a blessing really to be able to explore my interests and passions in that way. But it was one teacher, and then we became like a small cohort. I think there were like 10 of us or something in that major. It wasn't a super popular major at the time, but a really great group, a good community of women's studies majors at the time.
That's really cool. Memory, what's your favorite college memory?
My favorite college memory is playing sports.
Okay.
So I played on the field hockey team in college, and we had a lot of long bus rides all over New York. And you know, we used to entertain each other by doing these talent shows and watching bad movies and going to Wegmans and hanging out and exploring all over, you know, just being on the road with my teammates and playing sports in different tournaments is definitely my favorite part of college.
Got you. So you're a student athlete.
I was.
How'd you have fun balance?
I always got better grades in the fall when my sports season was happening because I had to manage my time. Like, you know, practice then, classes can only happen at this time of day, and then you study and you sleep and you're just exhausted. And then in the spring, I would get distracted, you know, like, oh, I need to go outside, I need to do this. But I actually found that when I had the kind of routine and schedule and discipline of my sports season, and probably the people around me that were all, you know, operating on that schedule, that was a little bit easier for me. I should have played all year round and not just one semester.
That's what's up. And last question is, if you could say one thing to your high school self, what would that be?
Speak up and not be afraid to kind of use your voice or share what you were really feeling, and just don't worry so much about how people perceive you, but just, you know, be authentic to yourself.
That's great. You heard that from Ellen. Be authentic to yourself. Thanks, Ellen. That was dope. High five, high five. Yay. That was dope. We got it done. Philly Goes to College, Philadelphia Education Fund. Without the Philadelphia Education Fund, Philly Goes to College wouldn't be here. So I need y'all to keep plugged in with them. Philadelphia Education Fund. .org, right? Yep. That's it.